Someone asked me, when you were your smallest, did you still feel fat? Honestly, I paused before answering because, yeah, I did. And I know from your DMs that so many of you are trying to lose weight right now, thinking that that's when everything will click. So this entire video is for you. And I'm about to get uncomfortably honest with you. So let's start with that question. When I was my smallest, did I still feel fat? I was competing in bodybuilding, had a six-pack as a size 0, and still thought that my stomach was huge. I thought that shrinking my body would make me feel free, and instead it just made my world smaller, because shrinking your body does not shrink your insecurities. If anything, every little flaw feels magnified when you've built all of your worth on discipline and deprivation. It took me a long time to realize that confidence doesn't come from losing the weight, but instead from losing the obsession. Think about one thing that you're trying to appreciate about your body right now, no matter what size or season you're in, and drop it in the comments, because I had no clue how to do that for the longest time. Let's talk about the content, the tools, and the people that actually helped me do that. The next question is, what content did you watch or read that helped you overcome negative body image? The book Life Without Ed by Jenny Schaefer. It was the first piece of material that really made me feel seen and also characterizes your eating disorder as like a toxic ex that you need to break up with. The book Adultish by Charlotte Markey. It is a great read for young adults learning to love their bodies and build confidence. Plus, I'm quoted in it, which is kind of wild. At the time I was going through recovery, body positivity wasn't really a thing in the media like it is now. At the time, the only creator that I really knew that went from fitness to body positivity was Mix That Zone, and she actually went viral for her whole like photoshopping belly button scandal. If you know, you know. But now it's so much easier to find creators that can help you feel good about yourself. Right now, my favorite creators are Lively Liz, Izzy Rogers, and Bailey P. And also, of course, myself. But what helped me truly the most wasn't just content, it was community. Surrounding myself with people both online and in real life who made me feel seen. It's so freeing once you realize that you're not doing this alone. So this is your reminder to hit subscribe and join the Cutie Club, where I talk all about confidence and self-love. And we have the most amazing supportive community that I would love for you to be a part of. Someone else asked, what strategies do you currently practice when you experience negative body image days or moments? Literally the other day, I felt so bloated, I didn't even want to leave the house. So finally, I just threw on a baggy sleep shirt, and I definitely did not want to be doing a workout that day. And I still went to the gym, not to punish myself, but to prove that I could still show up even when I didn't feel like it. And honestly, I felt a little bit better after. Not because my body changed, because I did something for myself while I still felt like crap. Instead of waiting to feel perfect first, I do the thing and wait for the feeling to catch up later. So that's the internal stuff. But what do you do when you're out in the world and you're hearing all of these external opinions? Let's talk more confidence. How do you cope with or overcome the fear of being judged based on how you look? The first time I walked into the gym, I felt like I knew everyone's eyes were on me. Now I know they probably definitely aren't, because I know I couldn't give a crap about anyone else in the gym. But say someone is looking at me like, oh my God, why is she wearing a crop top? It says way more about them than it does me. You're gonna take time out of your workout to criticize me? If someone cares enough to judge you about how you look, they are deeply insecure with how they look. So I stopped making their insecurities my problem. Okay, so this next question, it's a good one. How do you stay confident when people assume that you have insecurities even though you might not? And I love this question because insecure people will always assume that you're insecure just like them. Last year, I went to the tailor to get my dress fitted to go to one of my friend's weddings. I put the dress on and I feel beautiful. It was a gorgeous dress. And the tailor looks at me and says, oh, you need to get spanked so you can hide that tummy. And I was like, what? I think my tummy is so cute. And in the moment, I told her, I don't want to do that. For a moment, I almost second guessed myself. And I was like, oh my God, do I need to buy Spanx? But then I caught it. People project their insecurities all the time. So if someone assumes I'm insecure, I just let them. I'm not here to convince anyone that I'm confident. I'm just meant to be it. So we've talked about how you see yourself and how you show up, but what about those days when you just can't? And you need motivation. So this question is, do you think you should just keep going when you're down and unmotivated? What would you do? The answer to almost every problem that I've ever had has been stop it. And if I even boil down what my outpatient treatment was for my eating disorder, stop thinking the unhelpful things and think these helpful things instead. Stop spiraling and make the next helpful choice. And if you keep doing that, the hard choices will eventually stop feeling hard. For example, when I'm sad, I don't want to do anything, But I know that if I don't work out, by day 3, I am a miserable person. That sounds like an unfortunate cycle, doesn't it? The more I listen to my sad and unmotivated voice, the more sad and unmotivated I become. A lot of times I just have to kick myself in the butt and tell me to do the things that I don't want to do. Majority of the time, all my problems go away. Okay, next question. How do you cope and practice self-love when times are rough and your schedule doesn't allow for a balanced lifestyle around food and exercise? Prioritize. Sometimes that means sacrificing a workout, and sometimes that means sacrificing work. Like there are some nights I ask my boyfriend Dara to make my dinner because I don't have time to go get a workout in and make a meal. And other times I am running to Taco Bell after I just finished the hike because I am starving and I don't have time to care about nutrition or protein or whatever. We all only have 24 hours in a day. And I understand that sometimes we have a lot of priorities and some people have way more responsibility than others. But then it's finding a balance with the priorities you do have. Maybe you've decided that you can only get in 3 workouts a week. Or maybe one day you only have time for a 9-minute run. Great, do that. This last section I've been avoiding a little bit. Let's talk about how I got here. What was the most challenging thing about being a bodybuilder? Okay, do you want the earnest answer or the funny answer first? Because the funny one would definitely be peeing in a cup on show day. If you know, you know. But the real hardest part was watching myself gain the weight back. It wasn't even physical, it was all mental. You go from every pound lost being a success to every pound gained feeling like a failure. Seeing your body change like that, even if you know that it's okay and healthy, it spirals quickly. And for me, that meant sinking back into binge eating and ultimately checking into outpatient therapy. If you don't know my full story, I started binge eating and thought that bodybuilding would fix it. So I then traded binging for orthorexia, which is the obsession of tracking and only eating healthy foods. So when I didn't have that anymore, I went back to what I knew. But in reality, gaining weight was eventually how I got myself back. And someone else asked about my time as a D1 cheerleader, specifically about my journey to becoming one. I wanted to be a cheerleader because I thought it would make me popular. I tried out for the basketball cheer team at my high school and I made it on the team. But it's funny because I actually ended up on the team with my biggest bully. She literally stole the check I was using to pay my cheer dues with from my bag and put it in the period trash bin so that I would have to dig it out. So no, being a cheerleader did not make me popular. It taught me how brutal girls can be when they are insecure. And I never thought that I would cheer again after that. But then I got into Northwestern and I submitted my audition tape, which I still cringe thinking about because I did like a toe touch that like was 3 inches off the ground. But it was worth it because I made it. Looking back, it wasn't cheer that made me more cool or confident. It actually made me way more insecure for a while. But it also toughened me up. I learned how to walk into a room full of people who didn't like me and still perform anyway. We're finally at the last question. If you've been enjoying this video, make sure to give it a like so that I know that you're here. What is your favorite part about becoming who you are today? I grew up in an extremely strict household where I didn't get to make a lot of decisions for myself. I played violin because I had to play an instrument for college. I figure skated because I had to do a niche sport for my resume. And I had to get straight A's so that I could get into a good college. I even had to write a dissertation to my violin teacher begging her to let me try cheerleading. I didn't realize even then I was chasing permission. Essentially, I never got to decide for myself what I wanted to do with my life. And now my life finally feels like it's mine. I have decided what I want to do. I live in Los Angeles on the other side of the country from where I grew up because it's really freaking cool. I post online even though I was told my whole life it was too much. I was convinced long distance was bad and boys were XYZ, and now I'm dating someone from another country. Now every decision, big or small, comes from what I want, not what I think I'm supposed to want or someone else wants for me. If you take one thing away from today's video, I hope it's that you have the permission to love yourself, no matter what you look like, what size you are. And if this video gave you even one little reminder of that, hit subscribe and come hang with us in the Cutie Club, where confidence is learnable, body changes are normal, and you are so loved, exactly as you are. Love you, cuties.